Thank you very much, madam. May I invite our next speaker, Dr. Subodh Chaturvedi. He is the consultant cardiac anesthesiologist at Gokuldas Hospital, Indore. He developed the ISA national website at its present form, and we are all enjoying that. Thank you very much for that endeavor, and we congratulate you that we are already using, and it's a big hit. How much? How how many times hit today? You remember?
No, sir.
No. Okay.
It's more
But
than
he is a
lakh
good
actually.
astrologer, and astrologer is very much fond of time, time management for astrology. So he is interested in web designing, computer programming, and astrology besides cardiac anesthesia. Over to you.
Good afternoon, sir. I'm Dr. Subodh Chaturvedi, and the topic given to me was how to make a good PowerPoint presentation. So first I'll go to the introduction. Microsoft PowerPoint is a presentation program by Microsoft. And PowerPoint is used by business people, students, educators, and speakers worldwide as an aid to give speeches. It was designed by Bob Gaskin in 1987, and in 87 Microsoft purchased it and put it in its office suite. Since 1988, Microsoft is releasing its versions. Now going to the version history, PowerPoint's first version came into 1988, and then it went on to version 2, 3, 4, 5, and now 2010 we are using. But I'll just stop here. Why? Because if I keep on continuing the presentation like this, then 3 minutes later the hall will look like this, or maybe this, and one or two of them will be like this. Why? Why is it so? Ladies and gentlemen, people are killing people by bad presentation. Guns and bombs are not killing people. We are killing each other by bad presentation, because boredom kills. Right? So this is precisely my topic today, death by PowerPoint and how to avoid it. In this lecture, we would try to see how presentations go wrong and what we can do to actually improve them. So, to start, let me ask from the audience, how many of you have seen bad PPTs, bad PowerPoint presentations? I guess a lot. I get a lot of hands raised. Practically everybody has seen one. So what we actually get to see are long, boring presentations with bad slides and practically no content. What we want to see is a short and simple presentation which is legible, the audience can read it from the last row, and it should be engaging. The person should be engaging the audience. But that doesn't happen. Why? Because the human attention span is very less. It drops down in a minute. And if your presentation is not interesting, if your PPT is not engaging enough, you will be missed out. So make your presentation interesting, or you will again be lost in the world of presentations. So, now look at these people. This one, this one. The common thing among all these people is they were all great speakers, and they moved, motivated, and persuaded millions of people to do what they wanted. And another interesting thing about them is none of them ever used PowerPoint. Right? So I don't mean to say that don't use PowerPoint. What I mean to say that use PowerPoint as a tool. It is a tool in your hand to visually enhance your presentation. But PowerPoint is not your presentation. The presenter is you. So don't hide behind your slides. Come out and be a presenter yourself. So to learn how to make a better presentation, we'll have to understand the process of presentation. The process of presentation has three parts: the structure, the slides, and the delivery. Now, to explain delivery part, that is the public speaking, is a difficult task to cover in a 13 minutes lecture. So I will try to cover as much as possible about the structure and the slides part. Now, structure is the part which is most ignored in the presentations, but it actually is the most important part of a presentation. It is like 60% important is the content. If you don't have a content, if you don't have a point to make, then don't make a presentation. Just if you, ma'am, I'm having a bad flu. So Delivery part is 30% and your PPT is 10%. So unless you have a point to make, don't make a presentation. Into the structure, before making a presentation, ask yourself, what is my point? Why am I making this presentation? What is the goal of this presentation? If the answer comes from inside, I want to tell the audience about that, or I want to explain them this and that, just stop right there. That's the wrong answer. Just make sure, what do you want them to take home with you, with themselves? What is the end result of your presentation? What do you want them to do after they go home? Because end of the day, you are selling something. It might not be a sevoflurane for a company, but then too, you are selling your idea. Maybe you want your audience to use more regional than GA, or maybe you want them to use more epidural than spinal, but you want them to do certain thing after they leave the presentation. So make sure what is that point, and make sure that point is focused in your presentation. Why? Second thing is, why should it matter to the audience? And third thing is, if your audience will remember only one thing out of your presentation, then what would that thing be? Because if you know this much about the subject, and you are able to tell this much about the subject in a presentation, then the audience will take only this much. And you should know, and you should decide what this part should be. So first prepare the last slide, and then build the entire presentation reverse to lead towards that slide. How many of you did attend the 26th lecture of Dr. Miller? He put the conclusion slide first, and then he went on to present towards the next thing. So set a goal, and then give 3 to 4 reasons to support your point. As it is, they won't remember much. Dr. Miller could have taught you the whole book of anesthesia, but what he discussed was 2 things. The end result was, try to use neuromuscular monitoring as much as possible, and use Sugama-Dex when available. So make a goal, make 2 or 3 points, and then go towards it. The best idea is not to jump to the computer and start typing on the PPTs, but first gather your ideas, maybe sticky notes, write each idea on a piece of paper, sort them out, and then pick the best of the ideas from them. And then only sort the best of the ideas and then present them. Second thing is, you should have a story in the presentation. Now by story, I don't mean that you should be telling fairy tales to your audience. By story, I mean that your presentation should have a beginning, a middle, a aha moment, and an ending. So be a storyteller. Not in the exact sense, but the flow of thoughts should be coherent and leading towards a particular goal. How many times you have seen people jumbling through the slides, not knowing what is coming next, because they have just put up all the slides with all the data and they don't know what is coming next. Why? Because it is leading to nowhere. So have a story ready. This is my favorite from the childhood. So you are the mentor leading the audience. And remember, the audience is the king. The presentation is not about you. It's not me, myself. It's about the audience. What do you want them to make? The audience comes to a lecture hall not to see you. You are not a star. They are coming to the audience imagining what they can get out of this presentation. What is in it for them? So lead them to something which you want. And more importantly, if you can have, then have an emotional touch to your subject. Why? Because emotions are carried home in a better way. Why? Because the area which controls the limbic system, which controls the emotions and the long-term memory, is the same. So if you are able to strike an emotional chord with your audience, then they are more likely to remember your presentation than otherwise. Now what emotion does this slide invoke? I guess everybody is talking about dexmedetomidine, nobody is actually using it, but they are all talking about dexam. So this slide doesn't invoke any emotion. So you'll see it and you'll forget it. So 2 things in the structure. 1 is you should have a focus point, and 2, you should have a story, and still better, an emotional one. Now coming to the slides part. So when you put a huge number of words on a slide like this, 2 things happen. 1, audiences can read faster than you can talk, so they use up all their brain capacity, reading ahead, drawing their own conclusions, and not really listening to you, and they sit there consciously or unconsciously sitting. Why am I sitting here? This stupid could have just emailed me the slides and I could have stayed at home. So you don't put text, you become smart. You put bullet points, bullet point after bullet point. Even this doesn't help because this is not carrying a message. Why? Let's do a small test. I'll just put up a number of balls here, count them and nod your head as soon as you have counted. I guess 3 seconds. Now count again. Much lesser. And again, fraction of second. So the number of ball reduced from 10 to 5, but the amount of time taken to count them reduced to 1/10. Why? Because the brain scans the slide. It doesn't read it. So stop using bullets, or even if you have to use single point per slide. Well, of course, this will increase the number of slides, but the problem is not the number of slides, but the amount of objects in it. So try to put as less as possible onto your slides. Because slides don't cost a single rupee. Time can be a restraining factor, but then rehearse timings when you are practicing your presentation. Now see, this is the great man Bill Gates presenting his PowerPoint presentation about the Windows Live platform. But just imagine, if he has put so much amount on his slide, then who's listening to him? They are all reading the slide. And when I googled for complicated slides for my presentation, one of them was this. This is the slide of a very big company. Now it will take the entire conference to decipher what is in it. And this is my favorite. This is US Department of Defense. Believe me, it is a single slide, single PowerPoint slide shown at a Department of Defense meeting in the US. So, try to simplify. The slides are like the billboards on road. You drive, you just see them and you get the message. If you keep reading them, then you won't come to this conference. This small billboard says a lot in 3 seconds. So the slides are meant to be scanning because the attention of your audience is like an insect towards light. Whenever they see movement, the attention goes there. Whenever I change a slide, everybody looks at it. Now while I am talking about the slide, they are not listening to me, they are